preparation plus opportunity equals impact. At least that's the equation that I've come up with in my head to motivate myself to be consistent. And thus, according to that equation, the greater the preparation, the greater the impact. The greater the opportunity presented, the greater impact. And this impact can be had in your personal life, in the lives of other people. The impact can be anything basically that is determined on the other two conditioning factors of preparation and opportunity. So I want you to keep that in mind as you start this journey, or maybe you've already been on this journey to become stronger, to become better, to discover your limits and your capabilities. So anyway, that's just one motivating thing that I think can help a lot of people, is to envision the moment when all your preparation will meet an opportunity and you can have the greatest impact. Like I've said before, I think the measure of greatness, and this isn't something that I came up with, I've just heard it said many times, that the measure of greatness is not determined by what you have, but how many people you inspire. Basically, is the idea of how great you become is basically only determined by how many people will be able to be benefited by your greatness. Like if you're great, the only way to actually consider yourself great is that other people are inspired by you. So that's another reason not to assume that just because you have something, just because you've done something, that doesn't make you so cool, doesn't make you that much of a better person. Really, the best people are the ones that just work in silence, and the results shine in the dark, basically. Those results are seen outwardly, and you don't have to really tell people about who you are or what you do. Basically, those results will be seen by other people. So anyway, so today, this is hopefully one of the last days that I'll be down with COVID symptoms, but I went into the garage just to give myself some sensory input, basically to put some weight on the bar and do a couple different exercises, a couple different movements, basically to keep myself in it. That's all I'm focused on right now. I'm not sure if the best idea is to push myself hard at this moment right now. And so anyway, one thing I haven't done in a while, I do it about once a month, or as often as I feel, basically, but usually about once a month is when I do bench press, at least at this time. In the past, I've had years of experience of just being super inconsistent in the gym, and I've had times where like all I focused on was upper body, and sometimes where all I focused on was other things, but it was never with consistency. And so anyway, at least once a month, I think it's important that I focus on this upper body movement. I don't know how efficient bench press is at increasing your upper body strength. If you consider it, it's really just like a short range of motion down to your chest and up, and I can't really think of how too many functional applications to that strength, besides like maybe having to get up on your feet with weight on your back or who knows what. But all I know is that it's kind of a staple lift to determine strength. It's one of the three. There's squat, deadlift, and bench. And one thing I want to see in the future is how my squat affects my bench press, because theoretically, if the squat is going to strengthen my legs and then my back and my core, theoretically my chest is also supported by my back and my core, and so if I'm able to strengthen those, then that should give me more stability, so that when I go to bench press, that it'll be a cleaner and more efficient motion. And because one thing I've noticed is that with the bench press, I have a lot of wobbling back and forth, almost like on the back of my, like behind my shoulders, as if there's not enough stability there. And I've mentioned that before in my last video that I did bench press, that I wobble back and forth too much, and I feel like as if I'm unsupported. And of course, like I'm laying down on a skinny bench, but I feel like if my upper back muscles, well, at least like my back in general, but if it were to be a little bit more developed and get some width and some strength, it would create kind of like some sort of flat surface to support on while I'm pushing the weight up. So anyway, it's a work in progress. We'll see how that goes. I didn't go too heavy. I just basically wanted to go a few reps at 80%. My max is somewhere close to 225 probably. My upper body strength is kind of suffering. I mean, I've never really had a great upper body strength, but anyway, I didn't go too hard today. Like I said, just trying to just get some work in, let my nervous system like kind of try and condition my nervous system by maintaining my repetitions throughout the week. Anyway, so before I get you guys all too bored to finish the video, I want to go back to the idea of what if. And when I say what if, I'm in my head, I'm just daydreaming basically. When will it be my time, and when will I have the opportunity to show what I've done and basically in the off time, the my preparation? When will that opportunity come, and when can I have an impact? My biggest dream in life is to have a great impact on any community, but basically to help other people in any way that's positive. That's my greatest dream, because if I live and die only having done stuff for myself, at that point I will have considered my life a failure. And I think that's a metric that we can all base our lives off of. Just due to the fact that human beings, and even before human beings, whatever, like I've been learning about the ancestors to humans and stuff like that. It's been interesting stuff, but never before until our modern age, in the common era, have we been able to survive in small groups or like as individuals. We've always relied on community, and only now recently in the 21st century, people are starting to take initiative and to go off on their own, to be independent, and it's just not logical. And so the best measure of strength, I think, is to think, what can I offer to a community of people? How can I be a benefit? And when you are someone that is valuable and provides some certain skill or some certain capacity that is needed by a community, is when you have become someone that you can be basically proud of who you become. And so, yeah, that's what keeps me going, is thinking of when will I have that moment. And although I don't believe it's going to be one moment, it's going to be at least one. There has to be at least one moment in my life where I'm going to be able to make a direct impact and influence a lot of people. My hope and belief is that that moment will turn into many moments, and hopefully it'll become like a continuous thing where I'm constantly being able to help other people. But anyway, the only thing that is guaranteed in this life is that you'll have at least one. And the key is just to be consistent. And that's literally, it's the concept of where everyone wants a magic pill or a solution or like a fix all, and really there's no such thing. The only thing that's given in life is time, and we don't know how much time we have, and so you just got to use your time as best as possible. And the most effective use of time is just to do something daily, because you don't, some days you'll have more time than other days, but every day you should have time to do something. So that should be enough reason just to get up and get going, even if it's not as much as you hope you would be able to do. Understand that as you progressively overload your system in any way, any shape or capacity, whether that be physical, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as you progressively overload and you increase your load of how much you're able to hold, basically you'll become stronger over time. So anyway, so I'm done with the bench press, about to move into the squat. Anyway, yeah, basically this has been weighing on my mind of knowing that that God has a goal, and he has an understanding of what our needs are, exactly what we need in our life to become better, stronger, and happy. But what we consider to be happiness is not always the same as what he knows happiness to be. And so sometimes we pursue things that are not the most productive. Anyway, so the key to the equation of preparation plus opportunity to equal impact is that you have to know exactly what are you doing to prepare, what do you need to focus on, and that's where I think it's so important that you have a connection to some sort of spiritual, I guess a spiritual line to God. I know not everyone, not all of you listening, believe in God or believe in the Holy Ghost as I do, but you have to believe that there's some way where you can become a better person. And if you do not believe that you can become a better person, then all hope is lost at that point. And I have no idea what to do to help you in that case. But I'll tell you what I do to make that connection and to determine what needs to be done in order to progress and become a better person. And so what I do is that every day I kneel down. I make sure that I pray a few times a day. My minimal goal is 3 times. And one thing I've noticed throughout my life, but especially the last couple of years, as I've made my best effort to learn about how all this stuff works, I've made my best effort to pray at least 3 times daily, but anywhere up to 10 times daily. And when I was a missionary, my whole purpose and focus was to be spiritual, to bring the Spirit with me everywhere I went, to teach people about Jesus Christ. And so I was praying up to 20 times daily. And that sounds like an excessive amount, but what really happened is that the more I prayed, the happier I became, because I was able to open up and receive almost like a direct line from heaven. And this line provided me with a lot of light, spiritual communication in the form of like impressions and ideas and promptings that helped me to take action and to become a better person, to do things that would make an impact. All this resulted from saying more prayers, and I did this daily. And over the course of 2 years, which was on my mission, I learned this skill and this trick. And now that I'm home from my mission, trying to find a new application of my purpose, which is like my purpose being I want to help other people, I need to figure out exactly how to do that. Knowing that my purpose is still the same, but my environment is different. I need to determine what exactly is it that needs to be done. And believe it or not, one of those things was that I felt inspired to start making video content, and then I was like, okay, and what else about that? Like, what about that is gonna make my purpose fulfilled? And then, anyway, the answer wasn't exactly given to me, but basically, my inspiration was to come on YouTube and start recording stuff, start talking about things and ideas, and my only hope is that somehow it'll all work out. I have no idea who's going to be listening to these, who's going to be watching me, who's going to be needing help or inspiration, or who maybe can help me by giving me ideas. But the only thing I can do now that I've received this communication is just to do it and to put this out there. And one thing I've noticed is that although I wanted to fulfill this purpose of helping people and inspiring people, in return, I've seen that I have been blessed and that I've received strength and received basically the blessings that I hope to give to other people. Just by being more consistent and exercising and stuff like that, I've noticed that my weaknesses becoming stronger in my physical self. I've already spent considerable time attacking my mental, emotional, and spiritual weaknesses, and I will continue to do so. But one of the biggest roadblocks to my overall health has always been my physical health for a long time. And so I'm finally attacking it and doing my best to be consistent and stay on top of it. And it's literally like such a duh statement, but when you actually try and you make that effort consistent, you'll start to see results. And it's like it's literally as simple as just do it. Like the freaking Nike slogan. It's like just do it and things will happen, things will change. So that's my message, I guess, to all of you that are listening, whether it be 2 people, 100 million people, or no one. If I'm the only one hearing myself talk, then at least that will help me to become a better person. So anyway, back to the squat. I don't think I went too heavy. I literally think I only did 135 today. and I did it for about like 6 to 8 reps, I think. Literally, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was thinking of going up to 205 ish, and doing it like a heavy set, but I really just felt like the best thing to do was to keep it light and to just do enough reps where I felt the muscles that I was intending to target, where I could just feel them and know that they're still there. And that's literally enough for me. But keep in mind, I have COVID right now. My system is a little bit taxed. I could definitely feel like I had a shortness of breath today. I was literally barely pushing weight, and I was dripping sweat like crazy. One thing that happens with COVID, I guess just with any respiratory thing, it's important that you drink water, because the water will help flush the toxins out of your system. And so as I've been drinking tons of water, I'm already sweating, and so my body needs more and more water. And so I think my body was just holding a ton of water today, and it was just all coming out. I was just dripping sweat, but it's all good. I just imagine that with each drop of sweat, that some negative substance or some negative influence is out of my system, and I can apply that directly from the physical to the emotional and spiritual. That the more that I push myself and apply myself in this way, that every time I experience some fatigue and see some sweat come out of it, then I can know that something came out of me that I didn't want to be in there in the first place. So now I'm moving into the deadlift. I think I went 3 sets or 4 sets. I think only 3. I just did 135, and I went up to 185. And anyway, that's all my workout today. So this is winding down. This is the worst part of the video for me, when I don't know exactly when it's gonna end and I just have to keep rambling on. So if you want to leave the video now, feel free. I'm just gonna keep talking. And one thing I've noticed, so I've been doing Romanian deadlifts, which are you rack the barbell, and to do the deadlift you have to walk the bar off the rack, and then you do a few like 3/4 motion, almost full range of motion, but you keep your legs somewhat straight. You only use your hips and your back to perform the deadlift. And so as I've been doing those, through the pole on the upward motion, I've been feeling like I'm seeing how it affects my lower back and my hips, but I also feel it in my lats, and that's an interesting thing too. And so I've been watching Ivan Juric, who I've talked about a few times already. I've been watching his channel for several months now. It's IVANDJURIZ. And this guy, he literally only squats every single day and does lower body movements, because that's just his form of building strength. But his arms are defined, and everything about his upper body is like in a good condition. And I've been thinking about that for a little bit, and it's almost as if like anything using your arms, even if it's to perform a lower body movement, will strengthen your upper body as a whole. Anyway, so I noticed that with the Romanian deadlift, as I pull up, if I focus on it hard enough, like I can feel my lats contracting and pulling the weight as well, and I'm also building shoulder strength at the same time. So that's one motivation to focus more on your lower body, and to also incorporate the upper body into your lower body. Is like, if you feel that you're leaving your upper body out, like you feel like you're neglecting your upper body by training a lower body, just understand that by loading the bar on your shoulders or pulling it with your hands, you are working your upper body in some way, and over time you're going to see some growth from it. So anyway, I think hopefully this is my last set. I'm actually done with talking. I don't have anything else to say. I will say though, I just said I won't say anything, but deadlift has got to be my favorite exercise, and I'm starting to learn to like the squat. I don't love it yet. Bench press is a fun one, but it's my worst lift. But I think I used to like it the most, but now I think I like deadlift better. But for some reason, I have the most fun doing bench press, and then I don't know how to explain it, but the deadlift, it's like It's like my most natural form of strength. Every time I lift and I pull off the ground, I feel as if my body was exactly designed to do that. So if you're looking to start going to the gym and doing something, I would recommend trying out all the different lifts and motions you see on YouTube, or that you can see other people doing in the gym, and whichever one feels like it's made for you, to focus on building that and let that be your base point, because at some point you're going to have to branch out from that and work on your weaknesses, but you want to have something you can always go back to, something that you always will have love for. So anyway, that is it for today, and thanks if you're watching. Have a good one. God bless.